We're the Wildlanders Off Grid, a family homesteading in remote, rural Portugal. We left our city lives behind to connect with nature and live a more sustainable lifestyle. From growing our own food to learning how to build our own tiny house. Follow our journey as we build a new life for ourselves. Welcome back to the Wildlands,
where we're on day 10 of our 40-day homesteading challenge.
And this morning our first job is to finish the stairs, or maybe get the stairs finished.
We think we can do it in a day.
Can we do it in a day? And we've got a massive list of jobs left in our 30 days.
We have.
We have. So what have we got to do? So we've got to finish the stairs, that's our first job. We've got to roof out the front of the shade house area.
Yes.
So that we've got more rain-proof areas for when we're eating dinner and having friends over.
Got to build a toilet from scratch.
We've got our 5-day toilet challenge, that's going to be fun.
Yep.
We've got to get all our trees in our new garden planted before November, before the frosts come. And the garden all landscaped, planted. Got to build like shade structures to shade the top area. That's a lot of work.
We're going to start work on the catio because when we're putting in other things, we've got to mix up some cement. And we thought we might as well put the posts in for the catio because they need some cement too.
What's a catio?
What's a catio?
Well, just in case people don't know what a catio is.
The catio is an outdoor area for our cats to enjoy.
Which is going on the back of the cabin here, and it's in the same style as the cabin, so that's exciting. And then also we've got our friend Paul coming back, and he's going to finish the downstairs porch on the cabin. That's going to be exciting.
Yeah, that'll make a huge difference because at the moment it's just a piece of OSB balanced over the beams. So the beams are there and ready, the structure's there and ready, but there's no floor and there's no banister. So you could just fall off the edge, which Rosie would, multiple times.
Yeah, and there's more jobs on the 40-day challenge that we've forgotten about. We've got to put the windows in.
Yeah, the windows aren't quite, they're almost fitted. They're held in with 2 screws each, so they need fitting properly. We're going to put a little wooden box round on the inside to make it all neat and tidy up all the joins. We're also going to put planks of wood on the outside, like to frame the windows, just to make them look pretty and to give it a bit more protection from the weather.
It's basically to seal the edge where the end of the cabin meets the window frame.
Yeah, then we're going to wallpaper the walls downstairs here in this part of the cabin and paint them. We haven't bought the paint yet, but Rosie's still, she's teetering between should she make it orange, should she make it green.
And there's more, even more. So can we get it done? You'll have to keep watching, but I'm saying we can, to be positive, but we've also got 2 other jobs. One of them is to finish our outdoor kitchen, which whilst it has been finished and we've been using it for nearly 2 years, we never got round to shelving all the cupboards. So everything's kind of dumped in there. So we've got to put shelves in the cupboards. The back of the cupboard doesn't have a door on it, so it means the mice can get in it, so we've got to mouse-proof that. And at the same time, while we're doing that job, because it's in the same area, we've run out of shelf space for all the many books we have, mainly on gardening.
Permaculture.
And permaculture, we've got to put more shelves up so that we've got room for our how to build a cabin section of books.
Yep.
And there's more jobs too.
And you forgot about the, we've got a little cupboard that we rescued. Somebody left it at the bins and we brought it home because it's a right little treasure, but the bottom's fallen out of it. So that needs repairing as well. And again, it's in the same area, so we're kind of including that.
At the same time,
And then the gate that we built out of pallets, when did we build that? A year ago?
About a year ago, yeah.
Yeah, we never treated the wood and we didn't fit any kind of locking system. So at the moment, it just kind of wedges shut and it sags, so it hits the ground a little bit. So it's great that it stays shut. But we thought we'd chuck it into our 40-day challenge to paint it, treat it, and add the lock on the back.
Yeah.
That's an awful lot of stuff.
It is an awful lot of stuff. And on the gate, the stupid thing is, which is so Wildlanders Off Grid, is we've had the lock and all the fittings and all the screws and the paint to finish it for a year or since we put the gate up.
Since we put the gate up, yeah.
Yeah, so the gate does its job because it means hunters, random dogs and so on can't come in when the gate is shut, but obviously we put it in for burglary purposes, so get the lock on and it'll do its job properly. So many jobs. So can we get that done? So keep watching. So now it's back to the stairs.
Yes, let's see if we can get them finished in a day.
So what's first, do you think?
I think we have to add the next 2 uprights, boom, and then we have to work out, then you have to make your little triangle step to go on there.
Yep.
And then once we've got that, we can put in the diagonals because they've got to sit on the step that you have to make.
Yeah, and then once the diagonals are in, the stairs go in, and then it's time for a beer.
brilliant. No, then it's time for sanding, I'm afraid.
Sanding, oh great. Do you want to be a no, I can't have a beer, you've got to do sanding. So we're in the new nursery garden, and those of you new to the channel, we call it the nursery garden because the Wildlands is also a small plant nursery, a growing plant nursery, and this is an expansion. So we've got 3 new terraces that were built by Frank with his digger a few months back, and what we're doing is this top terrace is going to have 2 large 3-metre shade structures, and then we'll use this area for storing potted plants. At the front here we're going to put a fence in and wire, and we're going to grow plants up that and plants down the ridge. And then we've got 2 narrow terraces which have got 2 long beds of about 1.5 meters each, so that's 4 big beds, and we're going to plant that up with plants that we're growing on for the nursery. So for example, if you had a big clump of hostas, we can grow it in the ground, and then every couple of years we can lift them, take some off, put them in pots, and then sell them in the nursery. So today we're getting all these bits of 3-metre timber down. Here comes Missy with one now, and we're going to mark out where we've got to dig the holes ready for tomorrow when Paul comes with his cement mixer to help us put these in the ground. Morning, so it's another glorious day at the Wildlands, and we're back on the nursery build, and today we've also got Beardy Builder over with us helping us with the cementing from Frugal Family Off Grid. I'll put a link to them down below, worth following them. They're a family living like us off grid, and they're doing a lot of alternative building on their land, so worth a watch. And today, so he's over with his cement mixer, and today we're going to get the structure up. So we got 1/2 of the first structure made, everything is ready and cut to size and bolts in situ. So Missy and I are just going to make the second half of the first structure, and then we're going to lift it into place. We've got these holes either side of me, you can see, and we'll be cementing the structure in. So off we go.
of week 3 and we've had to take a break from our work in the cabin on the stairs to come outside, and we had our friend Paul over to help us build this structure. It looks more like a jungle gym than anything. Do you want to explain what it is for?
Yep, so this is our new nursery area that I've mentioned briefly on previous videos. So it's basically 3 terraces, of which this is the top one. So what we're going to have is at the very back against the rocks, we're going to have bamboo. Then here in this gap to the left of the olive tree, we're going to have some almond trees. And then these strange structures are going to have shade material over the top. And then underneath here is going to be rows of pots for our plant nursery. And then along the front here, when these are out the way, it will be a path. And then in front of the path will be a row of berries and trees and so on. And then the nursery carries on. So the idea is that we can store pots here that we're growing on and or propagating. And then in the lower terraces, we can plant plants that, again, we want to grow on and get bigger clumps before we raise them and split them to sell in the nursery.
We had some issues getting these up.
We did.
It's very tricky when you're working with these, which are just wibbly bits of, they're just small pine trees, aren't they? That have had the bark stripped off of them. So they're not all straight. So when you want to use a level on the side of it and the wood's like this, it doesn't help. And then there's granite under some of the holes. So we had to underfill holes, we had to chop bits off. And it's a little bit wonky still, higher in some places, not quite level and straight, but we're just calling it rustic and going with it.
Yeah, I mean, really all it's got to do is hold the weight of the shade material, which will be on the top from that end all the way to there, giving the plants some nice shade. So it's not really very structurally necessary.
And I did think that we could maybe try growing some climbing plants up across the structure to make it look a bit prettier. So it's basically done. We're just waiting for the cement to set 100%, then we can take off all of these which are just helping to hold them in place. And then that's this bit done. It is, isn't it?
Yep.
Exciting.
So we got loads done yesterday. So while we put the cement in here, we also went down to the catio. And those of you that have watched us for a very long time will remember about 2 years to a year and a half ago, we started building the catio, and we had it constructed on the floor. We left it on the floor and we went back to it yesterday. So we got the uprights in, so let's go down and show you the catio. So back at the catio, which is on the back of the cabin, Rose's cabin. So what's the plans here?
We've got our uprights in at the back. They're slightly screwed into the sides on the cabin, but not all the way through, so we haven't damaged the cabin at all. This one's in. The post that should be there, unfortunately, there's just a big thick slab of granite, no digging at all possible. So we're going to have to put that upright in and try and hold it in place with a bit of cement around the outside, which is why that's not there. We've screwed together a frame, which is going to go across the top. So then it's basically just a box. It's going to be about that high. Going to have a door in this end so we can come in to visit the cats, and then we're just going to make lots of levels, aren't we?
Yeah.
Platforms and posts wrapped with rope and stuff, so that the cats can come and sit outside and watch the birds and not eat them.
So it's going to have the same green roof as the cabin.
Yes.
So it all matches, and it'll be very rustic, so it's going to be sort of a little end of the cabin. I think it'll look quite nice. And then at some point we'll also put a cat flap in the wall of the cabin so that Rosie can have the cats in with her if she wishes, or they can come out if they're in the cabin if they so wish. And under the cabin we're going to have their litter trays and also some sneaky hidey hole beds, so it's going to be great. They're going to love it, aren't they?
Yes, yeah, they really like coming outside now. They come out on their leads and they come out and sit on chairs with us and we socialise with them. But I think if they're in here, they can jump up and down and they can race around as they like, and yeah, they can just spend lots and lots of time out here.
So we'll come back to the catio as we get more work done on it in the 40-day challenge. Another day is done in our 40-day homesteading challenge. What day are we at?
Uh-oh, I worked it out earlier and now I can't remember. Day 13.
So that's because we had a couple of days off, so to speak. Well, we weren't actually off, we were running our nursery open day. So we've been sanding today. You've been doing loads of sanding, haven't you?
Yes, I feel in need of a very big shower. I'm completely covered in sanding dust, but I'm really, really pleased. These were looking so, this one hasn't been sanded yet, but the others have. And they were looking so grubby and rough and spiky and not at all nice. And they're starting to come up now, but I think they're going to need, I've been using rough sandpaper and I need to go to the fine sandpaper to really smooth it off and make it lovely. And then I've got to do this whole one, and until I've done all of those, we can't put the stringers up on the diagonals.
So while you've been sanding, I've been finishing the diagonal step, which I'll show you here.
Also known as a winder.
A winder, yeah. So that's looking good, I think. So it's all finished now. It's all glued together, screwed together.
Yep. And I love that we've left the backs open so far. Rosie wants to have shelves going underneath the staircase, which is a great idea, very space saving. And we're not sure yet whether that might be a little cupboard tucked away or just extra shelves, little nooks. But it's, yeah, I'm quite pleased with the design, how it's coming together.
Yeah, it's starting to look good. Yeah, I was hopeful that we might finish the stairs today, but it's taken me all day on that stair.
Always takes longer than you think. So the sanding, I thought, oh yeah, just do a bit of sanding and then we can start making the steps. No, sanding takes hours. And my arms are all like jelly now.
Yeah, so it's time to charge the batteries. We're off into town and we're also going to look at some trees for the new nursery garden, so that's exciting.
Yep.
So that's another week over on our
is.
40-day homesteading challenge.
Tomorrow you're editing and I'm working.
Yep.
And then we're back to work on Monday. And I think we're probably just going to carry on with the stairs, aren't we?
Yeah.
Try and get them done. More sanding, 2 winders, put some steps on.
Job done.
Job's done.
So thanks to those of you that have newly subscribed to the channel, much appreciated. And also to those of you that have gone down and liked. And especially big thanks to our new followers on Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. Thanks very much for your support. And if you've got any questions or thoughts about our stair build, our new nursery garden, or if you've got a catio, we'd love to hear from you down in the comments. Leave us a comment. We look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks very much for joining us and watching again.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.